is somebody paid for the real estate business that you've created? And so today what I'm going to talk about is how we can help you build your own listing brokerage inside of a brokerage where you don't have any of the brokerage expenses, no franchise fees, no office space, no salaries. You're not buying anybody leads. You don't have any liability. You're not doing any of the training. You're not doing anything day-to-day involvement in the operation. Yet we pay you a percentage of all the revenue that could add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars every year, all while you focus on increasing your listing sales and cash flow. I mean, you guys would be interested in a business like that. Because I can't see it, I won't ask you to raise your hand. Well, that's what I'm going to help you talk about today. Here's one of the best examples I have. This young man was my coaching student. He got licensed in 2013. He lives in San Antonio, Texas, so he's in his 7th year of real estate. His first year, he did $3.2 million in volume. When I met him, he was 7 months into his career, sitting 7 days a week at builders. We ended up closing out the year. He had closed one transaction by that time. We ended up closing out the first year at $3.2 million. His second year, he built it to $12.5 million. And in 2016, we started implementing for him what I call building a brokerage inside our brokerage platform. Well, how'd that work out for him? Well, currently, I actually have to update this screen. He has a brokerage of 2,296 agents across 44 states and all 7 provinces of Canada. It took him 4 years to build that. And his brokerage right now is valued at about $39 million. His average net worth over the 4 years that we've implemented this, his average personal net worth per month has increased $819,539. So the reason I share all this with you folks is because what I'm going to give you today is a very powerful system to go out and build a business that you never dreamed possible, quite honestly, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share today exactly how we did that. Now I want to give you some context about how powerful this is. Let's go look at the top 20 brokerages in the United States according to Swanapool. And Pat has more agents than 8 of the top 20 brokerages. One agent, little agent out of San Antonio, Texas, a 39-year-old kid, from where I'm sitting, he's a kid, who now has a bigger brokerage than 8 of the top 20 brokerages. It's almost impossible to conceive that, right? Well, today we're going to go through how we did that, the tools, the systems, everything, right? So the question I always get is, well, he just got lucky. He's one of those lucky ones that just won the lotto of life. Guys, he didn't get lucky. We just built a strategy to do that. And I'm going to share that whole strategy with you today, right? So here's what we're going to cover. I'm going to give you the exact business plan, everything that we did to help Pat do this. I'm going to show you how you can start taking 2 to 3 new listings every week so that you can build your brokerage. Then we're going to show you how you leverage these listings to start getting hundreds of people, and I'm going to quantify that. So like in Josh and maybe even in Tom's market, there's smaller markets, you might not get hundreds of people. What if you got 50 or 75? I can tell you in Josh's case, the last open house he did, I think he had 86 people at his open house. In a small community, I think we can agree, that's a pretty good number. The cool part is all these people that are serious about buying the house, they have to be pre-approved. Because remember, only one person can buy the house, so if you get 5, 6, 7 people pre-approved, only one can buy it. You got 6 or 7 other pre-approved buyers to work with, right? And then how you get paid referral fees from every month from every agent inside your brokerage. How cool would that be? Last year I was paid over 2,000 referral fees from our brokerage. Anybody get more than that? Last month I got paid 173 referral fees. So we're going to go through that process. Then we're going to talk about how you can partner with us to take and work like that, right? So who's going to benefit from this class? I always feel it's very important to outline. Number one, it's the implementers. People who take what I do, what I show you today and go out and implement are the ones who are going to win. Some people will walk out and say, hey, there's a really cool idea. Let me think about that for the next 3 years. It's not going to do you any good. Agents who are willing to work. I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. Listing agents. If you're already a listing agent, you want to figure out how to become a better listing agent. You're going to love what we show you today. Maybe you're a team leader. Maybe you're just an agent looking to leverage business listings. I mean, let's be honest. If you've been in the business for any length of time, most of us have thought about owning our own brokerage. I did. I just put $1.2 million of my own money out front to do it by buying franchises and improving offices. Well, we're not going to look at doing that today. What if you could have your own brokerage that you could manage and focus on listings? And then agents looking to build a business they could retire from. Now, maybe we don't want to retire. I'm 63 years old. I have no idea what I would do all day if I just walked away. But having the ability to financially is what I talk about. One of the most disgusting things to me is the joke in real estate is, hey, what's your retirement plan? Close your last transaction and then drop dead. Usually people laugh at that. I think that's pretty sad. It shouldn't be like that when we sell one of the best products in the planet to acquire personal wealth, and we sell it, and yet we can't build wealth for ourselves. Now, what this class is not, folks, this is not some golden ticket. Hey, you wake up in the morning, you poke a tweet out there, and all of a sudden you're going to be doing $1 million a year. It's not how it works. It requires work. It requires systems. It requires perseverance. I promise you, the first time you do this won't be your best time. The first open house won't be your best open house. The second will be better than the first. The third will be better than the second, and so on. Same thing with your listing presentations. Your first one, you're probably going to botch it. Your second one will be better. Your third one will be better than the second, and so on. So I want to just quantify that up front so that we know what we're talking about, okay? So let's get to it. Personally, I think real estate is one of the easiest businesses on the planet. You can agree with that or you can disagree. Here's what I'll tell you. The real estate transaction is not that simple, but the real estate business is simple. If we understand what we actually are, we're self-employed and we're building our business. And here's why I can say that, folks. It's real simple. What would you rather have? A Facebook lead, a Zillow lead, or a seller who raises their hand and says, I want to sell? In case you don't know it, that happens every single day of the week in every single market across North America, and for us, England and Australia. There are sellers every day raising their hand. I'm not farming for them. I'm not mailing to them. I'm not doing anything, yet they still raise their hand. Well, which lead would you rather have? I think we can all agree we'd rather have the seller lead, right? Well, they're every day. There's FSBOs, expireds, cancels, investors, all kinds of things, right? So they're very simple to find. Why would we spend all this money on ads to put somebody from, let's say, a Facebook ad they're going to drip on for 18 to 24 months when we can go out and take listings? Why would we do that? Because, guys, we know over the course of decades and decades, the most profitable and efficient real estate business that you can create is to be carrying at least 10 listings every day of the year. If you doubt it, Gary Keller wrote this book in 1999. If you want to have a good laugh, go out and read some of the marketing strategies like the classified ads and stuff. They used to work great for us. But at the end of the day, what he did is he looked for the commonality in the top 50 producers in the United States. The number one thing he found, they all focus on listings and they all had buyer's agents who work buyers. Guys, don't reinvent the wheel. If you want the secret to wealth, there it is. It's not a secret. We just keep looking for every shiny object that comes along that promises leads or, the business that, hey, you wake up in the morning for 10 minutes and do this and, go fishing all day and make millions. I got news for you, that doesn't exist. There's a model to follow, and the model is carry listings. The question is, well, how do I get them? We all know that. How do we get them? Now, it is definitely a touch harder in today's market because there aren't as many listings as there used to be. Our inventory is shockingly low. So where do we get it? Well, let's start with the easy stuff. Let's start with a FSBO. But my challenge for you today is to keep an open mind about the real estate business, number one. Number two, what I'm going to show you. Because here's the thing, guys. If we don't change the way we're working, we're going to be extinct, and it's going to happen fast. When I say the real estate market is changing at warp speed, I'm going to go through some examples for you. It's not an exaggeration. We have all kinds of things that are impacting the business right now that you need to be aware of because you can't keep running away from it. So I'm going to challenge you today to keep an open mind and start to think outside the box, right? So there's three things you're going to need to answer today. Number one is, does what I show you actually work? Well, that's my job to show you that, right? Number two, will we be there to help you? Well, I'm going to answer that for you too. But here's the one that you have to answer. can or will you do it? Because here's what I can tell you, anybody can do it. The question is, will you do it? And you just have to be honest with yourself and say, yes, I would, or no, I wouldn't. But that's your call. That's the one thing that I can't do for you. So as we go through this today, I want you to bear that in mind, right? So can we all agree that the only reason 99% of FSBOs decide to sell without an agent is to save the commission? Right? It's the age-old version of the FSBO. Now, many of them will actually pay a 3%. But they don't want to pay a listing commission, do they? And so, well, there are FSBOs out there every day in every market that come aboard. Well, what if we actually call them and use this script? You know, hey, this is Bob with eXpand Realty. Come get a little information on your home. I want to see if I brought you a buyer. Price acceptable. You will pay 3% finder's fee. That in itself, guys, is not unique. But the reason I want to share that with you, that I don't take this out of this presentation, because I want you to understand that words matter. Don't call it a 3% commission. They don't want to pay it. We use the word finder's fee. Doesn't that sound much better? So that's why I keep that in there. I want you to understand just the smallest words can make a difference. Then the next, well, if I had a platform specifically designed for private sellers like you, where you pay 0 commission or fees, you get top dollar for your house in only 14 days, we drive all the marketing for your home, we control when the home is shown, we handle the entire transaction. And I stop by for about 20 minutes, walk you through that process, and see if your home qualifies. Now again, guys, because we have multiple rooms on here in different parts of the United States right now, I'm not going to ask you to call it out. But let's say you were to call 10 FSBOs today and you're actually able to get a hold of them. How many of those 10 would let you come over? Now, I know you can call up and go, hey, can I stop by and see your house? I may have a buyer for it. Okay, you're lying to the client, number one. Number two, you have to figure out when you're in the house, how you transition to talk to them about listing the house. I don't have that problem. I already told you I'm going to walk you through this process. You agreed to do it. How many people out of 10, if you called 10 FSBOs and actually got a hold of them today, how many do you think you could get appointments with? Now, when I do it live and when I do some webinars, I'm going to tell you the average answer is somewhere between 3 and 5. Let's just say 2. Be conservative, just 2. So bear that in mind if we could get 2 appointments. Now, Josh actually created this one. He said, hey, what if we started texting them? He texted 8 FSBOs and got 2 appointments, right? Now, how about expires? We get those every day, right? Hey, Bob with eXpand Realty, notice your home hasn't sold yet, just call them to see what happened. The reason I put that in there, folks, it's not necessarily unique, but there's a lot of different expired scripts. What I found is that actually gets people talking. What happened? It looked like your house was, it looks like it's a nice house. What do you think happened? Oh, that realtor, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter what they say. Still planning on moving. They go, yeah, 6 months from now. Oh, cool. I've got a platform specifically designed for sellers like you, where their home didn't sell the first time. Actually, statistically, 11% of the time, the buyers will pay more than what you had your listing expire for. Now, in that scenario, you pay 0 commissions or fees. You get top dollar for your house. It takes us 14 days. Here's the best part, folks. We don't even put a lockbox on the house. So we control when your home is shown, handle the entire transaction. And I stop by for about 20 minutes, walk you through the house to see if your home qualifies. Even if they go, we're not doing it for 6 months. Well, cool. You know what? 6 months from now, we'll at least know if your home qualifies. Because the reality is, folks, 91% of all people relist in 30 days. If you called 10 expireds today, how many appointments would you get there? 2? I would suggest for most real estate agents, even if you did that 1 day a week, that's probably 3 to 4 more appointments for listings than you have right now. See, we got to get in the door, and we have to have something great to tell people in order to turn it into listings, don't we? I know you're probably freaked out with the yo, buddy. Come back to the 0 commission thing, right? So don't freak out. I'm going to get to that. Don't worry, you're still going to get your 6%, right? This is one of my agents in San Diego. How many of you guys would love to have listing schedules like this? This is what his Saturdays look like every week. Because he only does his appointments on Saturday, right? The way that we did that, guys, is we created an online bidding platform, an online auction, if you will. That's a system we use in order to carry at least 10 listings in your pipeline by targeting FSBOs, expireds, investors, builders, divorce and probate attorneys, and we're going to go through those individually. Now, remember I told you you're going to have to get out of the box? How many of you guys are probably sweating there going, whoa, something new, something different. I don't know about this? Just chill out. This is really cool stuff. Because the cool part, folks, once we get the listing, then we leverage that listing to get buyers into our open house and get them pre-approved on the spot. Our best open house has been 586 people. And I know in the small towns that we may be talking to right now, that's not a number you're going to achieve. What if you could get 50, 75, 86 like Josh did, 100? What if you could get in front of 100 potential buyers? What if it was every month? What would happen to your business? So you can't do that selling real estate the way that you do it. We're going to show you a system that we use to do it. Here's one of my agents in Raleigh. He got 4 listings his first week. 4 listing appointments in a day. 2 residential, got 2 auction listings and an appointment on Monday for 2 more, 1 residential, 1 commercial. Here's one of my agents in Houston. Rolled out a free 14-day listing program 2 weeks ago. 4 listings taken, 8 buyer leads from internet traffic, 1 mega open house with 112 registered guests. Received almost $90,000 over the list price with 45 bids pending under contract. Seller paid 0 commission, and I gave over 25 buyer leads to 4 different buyer agents. Not bad for 2 weeks of worth of work. I'm going to show you what his business looked like in 2.5 months, a little later in this, right? Is that the kind of business you guys would want? 4 buyers agents working 25 buyer leads that they're going to all pay you an override on that. That would be a business, wouldn't it? Oscar took 5 listings, had over 85 buyers at his first open house. He had to hire 3 buyers agents within his first 10 days. Then I asked him a couple of months ago, hey, how many of those actually sold so far? And he said 19 of the 42 listings he took sold, closed already. 19, he's in Southern California. 19 times 500,000, which is $15,000 in commission for him. Do the math on that. Here's one of our newest agents in Albuquerque. He did a 2-day open house, 10 to 5 each day, 2 receptionists, total of 180 plus visitors. 31 agents brought buyers to their open house, 21 solid buyers without agents. 6 applications with buyers not represented by agents, that means loan applications, in process with a lender at open house. 9 registered bidders with an additional 5 bidders as of this morning. 3 new listing appointments with sellers coming into the open house, and best of all, 3 new investor flipper leads that want to sit down and discuss the auction process in more detail for their flip homes. 1 flipper turned 19 homes in Albuquerque last year. Our guy is now working with that guy, and because we can provide him some other things, his goal is to do 40 this year. Imagine the volume our agent's going to do with 40 listings and 40 open houses where he's getting 180 people into them. Even though I can't see you guys, raise your hand if that would be the kind of business you want, so at least Tom or Josh can see how many people want a business like that. Because that's what we're talking about, folks. How do we take and get that, right? I told you my job is to show you that it can work. Here's another one, 2 open houses, 60 people through the door, 70% with realtors, 30% with investors. Investors are the mother's milk of real estate in this platform, folks. 15 people registered to bid, 3 pre-approvals already, end of auctions Wednesday. In case you think they're new, they're not. Now, Hubzu started out as a FSBO platform. It's now turned into an REO platform, which is what Auction.com and Zome are. Zome is owned by Mr. Cooper, one of the larger lenders on the East Coast. You guys have probably heard of them, but they are the 2nd largest REO servicer in the United States, and they sell all their properties through auction. And we have Concierge Elite Auctions. They sell all their homes, but they're multi-million-dollar homes. So guys, auctions are nothing new. It's just new to you. And we're going to talk about that. So here's the challenge I've got for you guys today that we need to talk about. Because, yeah, we're going to talk about business today, but we also need to think a year, 2, maybe even 3 years out. How are you going to compete for listings? I mean, you got the other agents in your market already, right? How about discount brokers? How about new technology like Amazon? Do you guys realize Amazon's in the real estate business? And then you got your Zillow's, Open Doors, OfferPads, and all the other iBuyers out there. I know if you're in smaller markets, you don't have the Zillows and stuff yet. So let me give you an example. My daughter's an agent in Wichita. I was out there a few weeks ago and I Googled discount realtors, Wichita, Kansas. Not the biggest market in the United States, by the way. About 500,000 people altogether. 2.17 million results for discount realtors in Wichita, Kansas. Flat fee, 2%, 1%, you name it. Guys, do you really want to get down in the ground and start competing with that? And then all across the United States, we have Redfin, Clever, Redify, right? Assist to Sell, Homey, Rex, Help You Sell. All these companies, like in Phoenix, we have every one of these. Every single one of these we have. You guys know that now Redfin allows buyers to circumvent buyers' agents and they can submit their offers right online. The buyers don't need you anymore, folks. Redfin has a lot of viewers. You can thank them for your MLSs for syndicating content to them and allowing this to happen to us. But that's the way it is. Your buyers can now go directly to Redfin. Then we have a company called Rex. Actually, Rex just announced that it's opening in Phoenix now. Here's what you need to be aware of. I think it's $24.95. I'm sure it might vary by market. But they don't work with buyer brokers. So if you go, no worries, I'll just add my commission in there. They just go, yeah, that's real cute, we won't work with you. You see more and more of that happening. We have a company called Homey that's here. It's actually based out of Salt Lake City. I think they're $1,500 or $19.95, whatever their fee is. They're the #1 brokerage in Salt Lake City. Guys, what are you going to do to compete with that? When somebody goes, I'll just list with Rex and it's $24.95 or whatever their fee is. What are you going to answer to that? I've got an answer. I go, well, why would you pay anything? And how do you know they'll get the highest price? I've got a system where they can get the highest possible price. It takes us 15 days to do it or 14 days to do it, and you don't pay anything. That's a good way to do it, right? So we got all the iBuyers out there, but I put this in for smaller markets like many of you that are on today's call. You go, all right, well, we don't have Zillow and Open Door and OfferPad. Well, guess what, guys? I did this in Wichita, Kansas. This is only 6 of what I found. There's iBuyers everywhere. Well, they're competing for your listings. You need to know that. And then in your bigger markets, of course, we have the OfferPads, the Open Doors, the Zillows. Redfin has a whole division of buying. You got highest cash offer, and you got We Buy Ugly Houses. They're everywhere, folks. You go, Bob, I don't care about them. I mean, all they're doing, they're just stealing people's equity. Well, that's a cute way to think about it, but unfortunately, I don't have the numbers for 19 yet. But in 2017, just Open Door and OfferPad. Now, in Phoenix, I can just tell you, we're bombarded with them. They had 17% market share. When they first started, they had 3% market share in 1 quarter. The first quarter they were in business in 2017, they had 3% of market share. Yeah, they're taking people's equity, no question. But they're there, right? This is an article from Inman recently. 39% of home sellers would be somewhat likely to work with an iBuyer. That means give up their equity, folks. This is from the 3rd quarter of 2019. This is just the homes purchased in Raleigh. Open Door and OfferPad bought 6.8%, 5.1% in Phoenix. Remember, they sell them now, so double it. That's only 2 companies, guys. They're here. They're not going anywhere. The question is, how will you compete with them? And in case you're thinking that, well, it's easy because they're going to steal 20% of the equity, well, I got news for you guys. They're here, and people are working with them in large numbers. In Phoenix, 1 quarter of our market, 5th largest market in the United States, is iBuyers. 1 quarter of the sellers in Phoenix, Arizona are willing to give up about 20% of their equity because I can get it done fast and it eliminates headache. In case you think that, well, I don't have to worry about that, do you know that Lennar, and they all have a builder division, so Open Door builders and OfferPad builders and Zillow builders, they're all starting to work with the builders now. So Lennar was an early investor in Open Door. If you want to write a contract with Lennar right now and you own a house, you have to bring them an Open Door offer. The real reason I want to show you this is because I want you to understand what's happening to you. When you bring your client into a Lennar subdivision, and I'm sure it's true for most of these other ones because, well, Open Door, these guys have built this for them. Your client gets an email the next day. You don't get the email, your client does. Selling your home, Lennar's partnered up with Open Door. It's a simplified way to sell your home hassle-free. Skip the hassle of hiring a realtor. You know, the person that brought you into my subdivision yesterday that said, hey, this is a good builder, you know, isn't this a lovely house? Yeah, the next day they're bashing you over the head, saying skip the hassle of letting them do it. And all those listings showing months of uncertainty. You just choose the close date so you can move into your new home on schedule. Simply go to opendoor.com/Lennar. So let's go there. Oh my gosh, they have their own website. And then when you click through there, they go, hey, let's compare what it would cost you to sell to Open Door versus those rascally realtors. So they say their average service charge is 7.9%. Folks, I have real estate agents in 35 states that we have gone and submitted offers into Open Door, and the lowest service charge that we've seen is 10%. But let's humor them and just say it's 7.9. What they don't show you is that they also charge a 5% market risk fee. What is that? Well, now it's 12.9%. Then they take and charge you for the repairs, and either you do them or they do them, and they're starting to offer, you know, maybe 5 to 10% under market value. They've gotten more aggressive with their offer price because they've got more competition, which is actually good for us because they all lose money on this. So now they'll offer 5% under market value. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and just say that it's 5% under market value, 5% market risk fee, and let's just take their 7.9%. That's now 17.9%. Yet you rascally realtors are charging 7 to 10% because, well, you're going to charge 6%, which we are, and then you're going to charge seller concessions. Guys, I don't know of a market in the United States right now that you're not adding seller concessions onto your list price because there's no inventory. And then I don't remember what the 1% was underneath. See, here's the reason I'm sharing that with you guys. Somebody is going to educate your client. The question is it you or is it them? And how do you deal with this, right? Then in case you think our good friends at Zillow, a couple of years ago, they launched instant offers, and they only did this so they could offer more buyer or more seller leads to agents and sell it to us, right? They were going to tell them how rascally we were charging them a 6% commission, let Zillow buy the house, and then everybody that didn't take their offer, they sold them to a real estate agent. Brilliant on their part. You got to give it to them, guys. But then they go, well, now we have all these listing leads, and, well, we went and got a broker's license in Arizona. We have no intention of becoming a real estate company. No. We're just here to provide you realtors more leads, and we kept feeding them billions of dollars every year. And now, well, they went and got a broker's license. They go, wow, we're not getting into business. Then they went and cut a deal with a company called West USA for 6 months to kind of figure out how it worked, and then they went and started buying homes. Last month, 210 homes were purchased in Phoenix by Zillow. All of these years, right? They've been telling us that, no, they're not getting into business. Then they went and bought a company called Mila, turned it into Zillow Mortgage because they're losing money on the homes. But the day after they did this, Spencer Raskoff went on TV, said, hey, I hope investors are changing the way they look at us as a place to advertise to a company that's more involved in the entire transaction. 4 weeks later, he was terminated because he finally said what they didn't want real estate agents to know. It was built on our dollars, our content for free. They took our content, became synonymous with real estate search, and now tell us to go pound sand. That's what happened, guys. Our good friends at Amazon, they cut a deal with Realogy. They're kind of doing what Zillow did with West USA. They're just figuring it out. They're going to take and collect a 35% referral fee. Guys, does anybody on this planet think that Amazon has no intention of getting into real estate and leveraging the search capabilities? They're just figuring out the business. Here's what you do need to know. Jeff Bezos' business motto is your margin is my opportunity. It's already here, guys. Then we even have the lenders picking our pocket. So Quicken Loans, the largest lender in the United States, they created a division called Rocket Homes. And what happens is everybody that's closed a loan with Rocket Homes, with Quicken Loans, they're constantly marketing to them. They have these things called trigger leads. When your credit score goes above a certain point, it creates a trigger lead, and it goes to Quicken Loans. Every time you pull a mortgage credit report, Quicken Loans knows within seconds. They have their Quicken Loan advisors and their Rocket Home advisors on it. Well, what does that mean to you? It's like, guys, for years, real estate agents have been telling me, yeah, I got to get better at managing my database. Well, here's what I'm here to tell you. If you don't get better, they're in it, and they're good at it, and they got billions to do it. And oh yeah, if any of your customers have State Farm insurance, they cut a deal with Quicken Loans to do exactly the same thing. And so now State Farm turned over their database to Quicken Loans and Rocket Mortgage. They're in our databases, folks. And I promise you, they do a better job. And then, well, of course, we have the lawsuit now where sellers are suing us going, wait a minute, why am I paying the buyer's commission? I don't know what's going to happen with it, but you got to be prepared for it. So why do I share all this stuff with you guys? Well, one thing I want you to know, here's a listing from Tacoma, Washington. No buyer broker agreement, or no buyer's compensation being offered. You think they're being preemptive? How are you going to deal with that, folks? And the reason I share all this stuff, guys, because change is so scary. Here's the choice you're going to have. If you don't change to deal with all this competition, you run the risk of being completely irrelevant in real estate. Irrelevance is a kind way of saying being broke. If you continue to just let people come along and do this and don't do anything to react to it, folks, you're in trouble. To me, that's way riskier than making changes. I get change is scary. I get it. But we better do something because it's here. And that's why I share all this with you, right? Because as Einstein said, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Guys, I told you today, you've got to keep an open mind. You've got to change the way you start thinking and acting, right? Because for sellers, there's really only three things they want from us. They want the highest possible, either sales price or net. To be honest with you, folks, most people don't realize it, but they care more about what they net versus the price. They need it done fast, and they want the least amount of hassles. Let's be honest, guys. What do you do to control it going fast other than it's a good market? What do you do to eliminate the hassles? As long as we have other real estate agents who don't show up, schedule appointments, and then they don't show up, you can't eliminate that. We're going to walk through a system that allows us to be in control of all this and have a demonstrable way to demonstrate to people how to get the highest possible price or net, right? And so we've got to talk about it. Well, what if there was a way to charge no commission to the seller? And you still got paid 3 to 6% on every listing. Well, that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Well, there is. That's where the online bidding or the online auction platform comes in. Because online bidding or online auctions work differently. They still exist in the real estate business. So there's three things we're going to go through today. Number one, why you should offer an online auction for all of your listings. 2, how to create 8 resources for listings and referrals using online auctions. Then we're going to take a break, let you get something to eat, and then we're going to come back and talk about how you build a brokerage inside of a brokerage and collect hundreds of referral fees every month. So that's our agenda for today. I know we're 40 minutes into it already, but that's what it is. So let's talk about why you should offer online auctions. Well, guys, when we go into an appointment, we've got 3 ways to take inside your house. We can get you a cash sale. For us, we don't have to take and go through Open Door and OfferPad. We have our own investor marketplace where we have over 200 investors who will pay cash for houses. Some will buy fix and flip, some will buy properties to turn them into rentals and pay 98 to 99% of market value. The cool part is for us, we get paid 3% no matter what. Some of our fix and flip investors actually will turn over the listing to us on top of it for 1.5 points. So we can do these open houses and we just make a ton of money from every listing. We can do what every other agent does, a traditional sale, or we can do an online auction. Here's the important part to understand, folks. In real estate today, the consumer has choices. If all you have is a traditional sale, you offer no choice, you're irrelevant. We offer choices, right? So, how many of you guys have sold a HUD home? At least raise your hand. I can't see you, so at least for the people in your office, in the room, because at some point somebody has sold a HUD home. Well, I'm going to tell you why that's important, folks. Here's how it works in Arizona. The days and stuff might be a little different. Basically, they show up on Thursday afternoon. You have till 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning to submit an offer. When you go to submit an offer, you put in your offer, let's say $200,000. They go, how much do you want to make? You go 5,000 or 5%, 10,000 bucks. The price is $210,000. Shake your head. That's how it works, because that's how it works. The contract is written up at $210,000. Guys, we're going to do exactly the same thing, so don't overcomplicate this. This is how HUD sells their properties. This is how all government entities sell their houses. The question is, why do all the government entities, HUD, USDA, Freddie, Fannie, IRS, why do they sell their properties by auctions? And then, oh yeah, like all the banks sell their properties by auctions. What do those two groups of entities have in common? They all have the money. The government runs out of money, they just come and get more of ours. And then the banks, they have our money. Why are they selling their houses by auction? And then, oh yeah, here's another category or entity of people. Well, this is your concierge. This is a $35 million mansion in our market that went up for auction. So our good friends at Concierge, in 2016, they did 102 auctions, and they only do 20 million and up. Then they did 292 in 17, 522 in 18, and last year in the first quarter of 19, they were up 150%. I don't have an updated number to give you, but the point is, guys, well, the wealthy are selling their properties by auctions, the banks that have all our money are selling it by auction, and the government that has all our money is selling it by auction.
So how much,
what does our everyday person have in common? Or have as far as the ability to be able to do it? They can't. Well, can we agree that there's a much bigger market for everyday consumers, but you can't tap into it as a realtor? Why? Because there isn't a platform to do it. That stinks. Well, here's the funny part. Forbes is writing articles, 4 reasons to sell your home at auction. HGTV did an episode, I've never seen it, but basically we had an expired listing in Hot Springs, Arkansas. The seller wanted $250,000. They actually ended up selling it for $275,000. What they did is they hired a company, went out and did a survey. What they found is 11% of the time, auctioned homes sold for more than what the seller had previously listed the home for in a conventional sale. That's another way of saying expired listing. 11% of the time, folks, the home sold for more than what it expired at. Then our good friends at NAR go, hey, there's some benefits of selling by auction. We have no idea how you can do it, but there's some benefits. Well, why are they so positive, or why are they so successful? Because they utilize the science of pricing. Folks, I've used this in my listing presentation for 20 years. If you list your price or your home at market value, 60% of the people will come and see it. 10% above 30, 15% above 10. If you price it 10% below, 75% will come and see it. 15% below, 90%. Well, that's really cool. But how do you get it up to the market value of what the seller wants? Well, the answer to that is you hope and pray. So you can go, yeah, I can price the house below market value. But guess what, folks? Once you stick in MLS at that price, and you don't have any provisions, how are you going to get it to the price the seller wants? You don't have a vehicle. Well, we're going to show you that vehicle today. So why would a seller want to sell with an auction? It's a very simple process, right? The good news is they don't have to accept the offer. They can accept, reject, or negotiate. They're not locked into anything. So if we price the house too low, they don't have to accept it. The buyer pays all the real estate commissions utilizing the buyer's premium, just like they do in a HUD, VA, USDA listing, any of the others. It works exactly the same. The auction deadline, though, creates urgency because we only put it on the market for 14 to 30 days. The higher the price, the longer we do it. A little bit more time to market it. It only takes us 14 days to shake up the bottle of champagne and then pop it and let it go. And the way that we do that is by setting the terms in the day of our auction. What we do is we do an open house on Saturday and Sunday before the auction actually ends, which is typically Thursday at 5 p.m. So Saturday and Sunday, we do all the marketing in advance. We open it up on Saturday and Sunday so that all the people who have been wanting to come in and see it from our marketing, they have the opportunity to do that now. Then we have a few more days to get all their loan documents to know that they're pre-approved buyers. And it ends at 5 o'clock on Thursday. See, the competitive bidding process helps you receive the true market value for your house. Guys, our CMA, the appraisal means nothing. Who establishes market value for a house? The buyers do. Whatever a buyer is willing to pay is the market value of the house. Now, whether the lender decides to lend on it's another story. Well, I know that question will come up, so I'll answer it. See, I now have a vehicle to take the competitive bidding process and allow the buyer to pay what they're willing to pay, even if they have to bring cash into closing, which in today's market is not unusual, right? And then you have us handling everything. Well, why would a seller want to do it? I can just tell you this, folks. My son wrote an offer. The last one, they had 13 buyers on it, and they did the highest and best. Well, here's the thing. We do it in a completely transparent way. We eliminate multiple blind offer situations. You want the house, you get the house. It's completely transparent. It happens online, right in front of their face, and they can take and bid whatever it is that they're willing to pay for it. No more blind offers. Well, the advantage to the seller is they get caught up into the psychology of auctions because they really, really want it, and they bid it up. We're doing our job for the seller. They have the ability to preview the house. We give them 2 days to come in. There's no hidden surprises. I recommend the seller actually does an inspection before the open house and fixes everything. Then you take everything away from people. If they come in and they don't have an agent, or they give you the old, hey, I got an agent. I don't know their name, but I got an agent. I could reduce the buyer's premium if I want to double end it. And all that happens, folks, is the bidding process does one thing. It creates the sales price, in which we now write a contract. We now have the normal inspection, appraisal, normal closing process, like a regular transaction, and any financing is accepted. Well, how does that benefit a buyer? This is a guy who wanted to buy because it had a little river or whatever running behind it in a koi pond. So he was one of 5 offers. For whatever reason, the selling agent did not say, hey, give us your best and final. Doesn't matter why they were crazy enough not to do this. But he looked this up like 6 weeks later, and he found out he was willing to pay $35,000 more than what the seller accepted. See, guys, the only way that a buyer, a seller, and an agent can win is to have a completely transparent online bidding platform where the buyer gets to pay what they want, especially in today's market. Man, after somebody's written 5, 6, 7 offers, they're tired of getting beat out. They'd have a way to say, hey, if I want this house, I'm going to get it. And if they decide, hey, it got too rich for me, they can bow out. It's the only way that allows that to happen. So the buyer's premium we talked about, right? It's our commission. We just get there in a different way. So that's what I'm going to show you. How could you sell a house worth $300,000? You get 3 and I get $282, yet the seller nets the same amount of money. Here's how it works. A traditional listing, let's say it's $300,000. You pay a 6% commission, $3,000 in closing costs, seller nets $279. Guys, tell me if this is how it works when you're in the house. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what were you thinking about selling the house for? They go $300. Great, how'd you come up with that price? Well, I went on Zillow, my neighbor sold his house, even though it wasn't as nice as ours, blah, blah, blah. We know that we need $275,000, so we figured commission and closing costs, we'd net $279,000, we got a little bit of wiggle room. Is that pretty much how it happens? Now, they may ask you to reduce your commission and some things like that, but that's how it happens, right? Well, ours works a little different. The house is worth $300,000, and let's say we started the bidding at $240, we end up at $282, right? And that's an arbitrary number, folks. Well, 6% of $282,000 is the buyer's premium of $16,920. $16,920 plus $282 is $298,920. Seller saves a couple $1,000 bucks, $1,500, $1,100, $1,200 bucks, whatever it is. Seller still nets what they want. We just got there in a different manner. So don't get confused with it. We get to the same place, however, we're not looking to try and get this up to 282. What if we could get it higher? And I'll give you an example. Guys, it's exactly how HUD auctions work, VA auctions, USDA. It's no different. So don't confuse it. Okay? Why do they work? Well, because they utilize the science of pricing. Because guess what? I can price it 15% below market, but I have a vehicle to get it to market value, right? So the question is, well, which house would attract more buyers? Same house, same model, same everything. One priced at $300, one priced at $240. What's going to get more buyers? Because what we do, folks, is we have a marketing system that we created, all designed for one thing: drive massive amounts of traffic to the open house. Here's a question. You want a Facebook lead that's going to take you 12 to 24 months to drip on it? Or would you rather be belly to belly with potential buyers and potential sellers and investors? Which is better for your business? So we'll do some Facebook ads, but it's all about coming to the open house. We don't care about your email. We care about getting belly to belly with you. The last open house that my son did, he picked up a $435,000 buyer, and he's got a property in escrow now for $275,000 from people who came to the open house from the Facebook ad. This is all about driving traffic to the open house so that we can get the bid price up and we can pick up buyers. No buying Zillow leads, no Facebook ads dripping on, all that other stuff. Face to face, pre-approved, right? This is what the auction timeline looks like, right? We get the listing agreement signed on the 10th. We start marketing on the 11th. We place it in the MLS on the 12th. We do an agent preview on Thursday before. On the 22nd and the 23rd, we do an open house. And on the 27th at noon, the pre-approval deadline ends. And at 5 o'clock, the auction ends. This is the timeline of how it works, folks. Yes, it does go into MLS. So, Alexis, brand new agent, gets her first listing her first week. Then she does her first open house, 96 on Saturday, 100 on Sunday. The seller wanted to get 404 net plus the buyer's premium on Sunday already. With 3 days left, she had 400,000. She ended up selling this for 412 plus the buyer's premium. Oh yeah, she's a brand new agent, a week after getting her license, right? This guy, hey, was all worried about the outcome, all afraid, all this, had all these things going on, plus it was raining. With all that said, he goes, hey, I don't know how the auction's gonna end up, but I've never collected so many leads in a single day in my life. We had around 70 people come in. Just did our second auction open house, listed the property at $450. We had 26 bids, with a top bid of $505. This stuff really works. Right, remember I said I have to demonstrate this works? James did an open house, $500,000, worth $500, priced it at $425, did absolutely zero paid promotions, 100 people in 5 hours. Michael did one, started at $320, over 300 people in a day. Now this is Southern California, folks. This is not going to be common to what you would experience in maybe some of these smaller markets, right? But 320 people in a day. Can you imagine that? 320 people. This is the same agent. He actually sold 2 properties. There's a house right next door. He did the open house the same day. So he actually sold 2 of them for $307,500 each. Over 250 people on Saturday, 75 on Sunday due to rain. He's actually apologizing, going, ooh, we only had 75 people in. This actually took him a total of 14 days. He listed it, did the auction within a week, and closed within a week because it was a cash buyer. $615,000 in production in 2 weeks. Robert, 300 buyers in his first open house, 45 pre-approvals. This is one that I actually was at in Banning, California. Starting bid was $199,950. Guys, they did everything humanly possible wrong. Everything. The highest bid was $280. That was not what the seller wanted. They didn't explain how the bidding process works, so all these agents filled in a contact us form. All that happened is the seller said, no, I want 300 plus the buyer's premium. We called this buyer up, said, hey, the seller's not willing to accept the bid. What they are willing to accept is 300 plus the buyer's premium, 315. I have 19 other agents that wanted to bid on it and screwed it up. We'll give you half an hour or so. Call me back. If not, we're going to go to the other 19. 5 minutes later, they got a call back, said, yep, we'll do it. See, we could even negotiate it. But yet they did everything wrong. Imagine watching a countdown like this at somebody's house, right? They invited their friends, their neighbors, all that over, and they watched this happening. In the last few minutes, they watched this happen. They end up selling this house at $175. They would have been happy at $160 plus the buyer's premium. But instead, they got $175. Champagne's popping, they got food, all this pandemonium's going on. Guys, that's an experience you can't replicate. You can't do that at a title company. Hey, let me hand you a picture of a key and take a picture so I can promote it on social media for me. This is a referral engine. Do you think those people, any of those people at that house, are going to sell their house any other way? See, here's what we're really trying to do. We don't want to get it to 282. We want to get it to, let's say, 290. Then we add our buyer's premium of 17.4. The property's 307.4. Seller nets more money. Your concern is, yeah, but Let me throw this one at you, buddy. What if it doesn't appraise? Well, first of all, I've got pre-approved buyers. I know if you've got cash to bring to the table. If you have the highest bid and you have cash, we have a little disclosure that we created that says, hey, you know you're gonna have to bring cash to the closing, right? And they either agree to it or not. If not, I go down the list and start going to the other bidders. The other thing is, well, guess what? We could negotiate. Or number three, I could go to the appraiser and say, listen, I have whatever number of bidders, 20, 25 people that were willing to pay more for the house. It's a transaction like anything else, folks. If you got to negotiate it, you negotiate it. That's what our job is. Remember, highest possible price or net, fast with the least amount of hassles. Well, we have the ability to get the highest possible price now. The market will pay what the market is willing to pay. I can get it done in 14 or 15 days. And guess what? You only got to leave your house for 2 days. No lock boxes, no nothing. I now have a way. Guys, online auctions are the best way to do that. The truth is, it's not the best way. It's the only way I know to be able to do that in today's world, right? Here's what we want to help agents build. This is my 23-year-old son. We want to teach him to become a really good listing agent. Because, guys, what happens is you have to hire agents to sit these open houses. We get far too much traffic. And I promise you there are hundreds of thousands of real estate agents across the United States that are happy to pay you a 30% referral fee on the buyer's deals. So now, if I'm putting you in an open house, and even if I'm getting you in front of 80 people, and we do that twice a month, you're in front of 160 people. If you can't close two listings or 2 deals from that traffic, I have to go get somebody else. Let's just say it's a $250 purchase price. That means you're making $4,500 a month on the referral fees from the agent sitting your open house. Yeah, let that sink in for a minute. So if you have 10 agents, well, that's 45 grand a month. And then what if I get the brokerage to pay you another $2,300 a month in referral fees on just their business? So what does that look like? Well, don't forget you also sell some of those listings, right? Let's only say you only sell 4, and you make $30,000 from that. Guys, that's over $77,000. Can you do that? Yes. Will you do that? I don't know. Remember I said this is the can you or will you do it? It's up to you. How hard are you willing to work? Can this be done? It absolutely can. Will you do it is the question, right? You guys starting to see the power of auctions? Hopefully by now your mind is racing, right? So how do we create these 8 sources for listings and referrals? Well, it's pretty simple. Database. Y'all know what that is. Now we're marketing to them all the time. Hey, do you know somebody or have you thought about? FSBOs, expireds, investors, builders, REO, divorce, probate. Let me go through that pretty quick. We agreed FSBOs, so it's easy. We got rid of the commission, didn't we? So we target FSBOs. Gosh, they're easy to find. They're easy to convert into listings. For me, I use My Leads Plus. I get that data every day. It gives me if they're on the do not call list and all that other stuff. You don't want to spend the $59 a month. Go to FSBO.com, ForSaleBounder.com, Zillow, Craigslist. But why do that, guys? Because what I do, we have this. We upload it into our CRM. We send a text message 10 days out. See, we don't do it when they first come on the market because they're all cocky about selling it. After that, if they don't respond, we send them a postcard. Then we send them an email. Then we send them a slide down message. If they don't respond to any of that, then we make a call. Because they're about 4 weeks into it now, and they're not so cocky anymore, right? So again, this is something that Josh set up. 8 FSBOs, text messages, 2 appointments. We send them postcards like that. They cost us what, 70 cents a postcard, I think? We have the same kind of thing for an expired sequence. We automate it. The only difference is we have to make a call faster. We'll send a text message. If they don't respond, then we're going to call. Then we'll send a postcard. We'll go through that process. You see, we have a system. Real estate is about systems to be in contact. Here's the cool part. Most of you guys are afraid to make cold calls. Text works good, right? And we send postcards like that. Whoa, too fast. One of my agents in Seattle created this. He goes into Starbucks and works, and he literally puts that up against the wall like that. He's never gone into Starbucks and not taken a listing doing that. He interviews agents for his team. He does book work, paperwork there. And every time he goes in, he gets a listing. What about builders? I mean, if you go to a home builder right now and say, hey, if you get people and they need to sell a house, I'm here, I've been in the business 20 years, and they go, yawn. What if you went in now and said, hey, I'm a real estate agent, I got a different platform to be able to allow people to sell homes. So as you're coming down to the wire and they're getting a little bit nervous, but they can't afford to take your, open door offer, I have a way they can sell their house in 14 days, get top dollar for it, and they pay zero commission, so they got more money to close. Wow, that's a better story to tell. Now, as they got people coming in that might not have sold their house or waited too long, wow, what if you could start getting, what if you guys got like a listing referral every other month? Even if it was from one builder. Well, that's 6 deals a year. There's no limit on the number of builders you could go and talk to. What if you've got 5, 6, 8, 10 of them to start sending you business, right? Investors. There's not an investor, guys, on the planet that doesn't want to sell their house fast, top dollar, and not pay a real estate commission. Start going to these meetup groups. We also have the ability for my team to be able to take and provide hard money resources for people. So we go to these real estate investor groups. Hey, how you doing? Do you ever use hard money? Well, of course I do. Great. Let me get you pre-approved for money so you can buy more houses. And then when you get the houses, we can sell them for top dollar 14 days, zero commission. You want to meet for coffee? What investor says no to that? Here's the good news. I've never had one say no. See, if you're in real estate, that's a good position to be in. See, so we have this investor lending marketplace that our agents can use. And then we also have a real estate investor marketplace where they'll buy these properties, pay cash for them. We get paid commission. We're not going in with an open door offer pad offer. We're going in with a cash offer that we get paid on. That's cool, right? What about probate and divorce attorneys? Gosh, probate lawyers, guys, are mandated by law to get the highest possible return for their clients' assets. Here's the script. Hey, this is Bob with eXp Realty. Hey, the reason I'm calling, I do quite a bit of probate work. And unfortunately, I've yet to find a really good attorney I could refer clients to. Are you guys accepting new clients? Well, I don't know of an attorney who says no to that. Well, great. What I'd like to do is sit down with one of the principals and learn a little bit about your company, because I have to be careful about who I refer my clients to, because if you do a bad job, they're never going to use me or refer me again. So when can we meet? I do the exact same thing on the divorce attorneys. I just substitute the word probate for divorce. What if you got a probate attorney sending you a deal every other month? What if you got a couple of divorce attorneys sending you a deal every other month? And you got your investors and your FSBOs and your... Well, suddenly we don't have a cash flow problem anymore, do we, folks? Right? Then, one of the reasons I created this platform is to tap into the REO market. Because, guys, if you think you can just go to REO vendors and get in, that's not true. See, they got a selection process or a pre-qualification. Here's what I want to build. I want to ensure that the agents that I work with have financial security, whether it's a good market or a bad market. In case you didn't know that, guys, in 08, 9, 10, and 11, there were real estate agents that made tens of millions of dollars. My job for my agents is to take and make sure that good market or bad market, that they don't have to worry about making money. So guess what? REO companies already understand that if you sell your house by auction, now we're going to go, and we have a big enough network to do it. We're going to go to them. One of the agents on my team is the former director of Freddie Mac REO. When Sharon makes a phone call, we're going to get in. This way we can distribute listings to our agents. You see, what we're trying to do, guys, we're putting the odds for success in your favor, because it's virtually impossible, not impossible, for any of those 8 resources to say no to working with you. Not impossible, I put the word virtually. Put the odds for success, changing the scripting, changing how you present, makes all the difference in the world. Because what I want you to do for a minute is imagine, literally, I won't tell you to close your eyes, imagine how what I just shared with you could revolutionize your business, what it would do to your cash flow, and what that would do to your lifestyle. See, if I took a survey of agents, I would tell you that 99% of them lay in bed at night worried about how they're going to pay the mortgage next month or the month after that. And so we're going to talk about, after you guys eat, a system to be able to help you with that. Well, what do you do when you're in the home? Guys, you don't do the traditional stuff. Tell them how wonderful you are. You don't give them this one. This is my favorite of all time. All you do, guys, is you take a listing presentation and you educate them on how it works, right? My goal is to get a cash offer for them first. Guys, I'd love to do the auction open house, don't get me wrong. But if I can get an offer for you in 48 hours and get paid a 3% commission, and it's a cash deal and I don't have to worry, I'll take that every day of the week. But in the event I do, I've got 3 other options for them, right? You just go through and you use your listing presentation, you educate them exactly the way I did with you on how we do this. And the number one way we do it is on pricing. We teach them. We don't sell them, we teach them. Now, at least for the guys that are in the room that invited you to this, raise your hand for me. How many of you guys think this online auction system would be an awesome way to build your listing and leads pipeline? Raise your hand for me. Because if not, then I've done a terrible job of being able to explain it. I know I go very quickly, I get that. But unfortunately, I have a limited amount of time, right? So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a break right here, let you get your food, and then if you come on back, I'll finish up with section 3 for you. So, Josh, Thomas, Arthur, go ahead. You'll have to turn on your camera